And the white for Wichita State. We are underway on senior day. The seniors are starting for Isaac Brown as well. That includes Craig Porter Jr., number 3 in white.
And we got a 1-3-1 defense for South Florida.
See how Wichita reacts. Little curveball thrown to start the game. Free throw line jumper rattles down for Jerron Pierre. Picks up right where he left off. 16 points last time out. He had 28 the game before that, and it's huge because no Jaquan Walton today for the Shockers. Leading scorers out with an illness for the second straight game. Starting lineup the same for USF. First foul on the entry feed. It's the first on Isaiah Poorbear Chandler.
South Florida has been going to that action a lot as their first play of the game. They want to go inside the Chihuahua. He's one of the most efficient post-up scorers in the American Conference.
Got a corner 3, rattles around and out for Chaplin. Now here comes Wichita running out in front. Rising rock for James Rojas. Phenomenal start for those 5. Gus Okafor in there on senior day, transfer from Southeastern Louisiana. And of course, Isaiah Poorbear Chandler on senior day, James Rojas, Craig Porter. This is a veteran Wichita State team in terms of years played, but not necessarily here together. Driving, scoop shot, Conwell missed. Drops, and the first points for USF.
Ryan Conwell is one of the most underappreciated freshmen in the American Conference, has played his way into the starting lineup. A great combo guard out of Indiana.
Pike High School on the south side of Indianapolis, where all the Teagues, Jeff and Marcus and Tajay, went to high school. There's Rojas, working off of Poorbear Chandler, and drops that in. He has 4 of the first 6 for Wichita State. He averages 10 points per game. He's kind of a guy that makes the drink stir for Wichita.
I think just their zone offense has been really good to start this game. Twice it's gone to the free throw line and paint area.
Harris got up in the air with nowhere to go. Conwell's 3, rebounded by Chihuahua. Harris, 2 in black, unafraid to put the thing up. Took 11 threes in the last game. Win against Tulsa. Here's Chihuahua. And the double down from Rojas, knocks it away, keeps it here.
And one of the reasons why Chihuahua is so efficient in the post is he's usually 3 to 4 dribbles max. Anything more than that, you'll see deflections or potential turnovers. And Coach Gregory wants him to keep it simple in the post, 3 or 4 dribbles, and then kick it out if you don't have anything.
Well, there is the kick out to Chaplin, and at the shot clock buzzer, he knocks in the triple. USF back within a point here early. Now, Brian Gregory said, hey, Chihuahua, if you were doubled, layup good off glass for Porter, take that as a compliment and then learn how else you can impact the game.
No question. And then on the other end, Craig Porter Jr. knifing his way through that zone. That's the 3rd time in a row that Wichita State has got the ball into the paint against that zone defense of South Florida.
Tried to feed it into Chihuahua. It was tipped away by Poorbear Chandler. Corner 3, Harris can't get that wide open. Rebound pulled down, second effort, rising up. Chaplin, no. Wasn't quite there, so Conwell has the open 3. That's off kilter. Loose ball finally to Rojas, and Wichita can run. Good transition defense. 3 for Rojas. Close. 3, corner, that one's money. Jerron Pierre has 5 points in the first 3 minutes.
Big time play from Okafor. Actually does a little no-look pass along the baseline. That was smooth.
And good for a guy that does not play a ton of minutes after being a first-team all-conference performer in the Southland last year. Another turnover after the main bucket. USF has a chance to string a couple of possessions together with Harris rejected. At 150 pounds, he went into the kitchen and wound up with absolutely nothing.
That was a certified swat of a block. My goodness. Harris does a good job of penetrating, but that was, man. And he's been doing that all season long. 6'2", and he's third in the American Conference in blocks. He's going to be up for Defensive Player of the Year in the American Conference.
It's not like Harris just ran into a center. He ran into a guard.
Porter's timing on his blocks are just terrific.
Hines missed it short. Now you can see what Porter does on the offensive side.
A little double drag screen. They're trying to turn the corner quickly, but South Florida does a nice job defending it in semi-transition.
4-point lead here for Wichita. 5 of their first 6 from the floor. And a reach-in called on Conwell. First foul on the freshman for USF. It's a 4-point lead for the Shockers early. If the American tournament started today, it does not start today, this is what the bracket would look like. Houston and Memphis are playing each other today. That will not impact seeding, but Mike, you want to stay as far away from that #1 seed as possible.
No question. That #1 seed is Houston, and if Wichita State wins today, they're more than likely going to get the 6th seed. They would be matched up against Tulsa, who they played well against this season. And so you potentially really wouldn't see Houston until the championship game.
Now, if you're South Florida and you lose today, you could wind up in that 8-9 game and then wind up playing Houston immediately in your second game in the championship. Makes it really hard to continue your march.
No question.
Wichita's come out with a vengeance today. 5 of its first 6 from the floor. First touch for Poto goes awry. And Sam Hines has the steal, 20 in black. USF is 3 for its first 9, now 4 for its first 10. Good early touch for Chiwa.
We spoke to you about that efficiency earlier, Joel, and that was just catch and immediately go up from the left shoulder. No dribbles, and that is vintage Russell Chiwa basketball.
Takes the energy out of this building. It's fairly full today on senior day. Poto, step out, rattles out.
Kenny Poto was the first player in the gym getting shots up before the game today.
First doesn't do it justice. Only for like an hour.
That's right. That's right.
Deep 3 for Chaplin. Poto tips the rebound, secured. Hines right back up and off the glass.
That is the 4th offensive rebound for South Florida so far earlier in this game. Wichita State must do a better job of finding a body and boxing out.
That was one of the things that hurt them against Houston in their loss. We've got an offensive foul. Houston took 20 more shots last time out.
Shot goes up for South Florida. Nobody puts a body on any South Florida player. Everybody's just looking up trying to jump with South Florida. South Florida's an incredibly athletic team, and they are always crashing the glass. Have to box out.
Falling down in the lane. Way to keep that alive for a second, but it turns into a turnover. Porter off kilter to Xavier Bell. Rojas, nice find underneath. Jerron Pierre, right place, right time. Good eyes by Rojas, and Pierre has 7 of his team's 13.
That's been the bread and butter offensively for Wichita State. Dribble penetration, getting the ball into the paint has proved to be the right chemistry for the Shockers on the offensive end.
Tyler Harris here, leading scorer. He's 0 for 2, number 2 in black. You like how Wichita's attacked him?
They're doing a really good job of guarding him in pick and roll scenario.
Conwell, tip around, put back, yes. Keyshawn Bryant coming off of a 30-point performance against Tulsa off the bench.
And another offensive rebound for the Bulls.
Driving.
That's tough.
Layup, misses, Porter. That's a defensive rebound for Chihuahua. And that old rhythm 3, never mind, turns into a travel. I feel like that happens every time. Brian Gregory, I don't think agrees with Doug Shows on that.
Because of how well Wichita State's moved the ball offensively, aside from that pass right there, it's pulled South Florida out of that zone. And they had to get out of it quick because the Shockers were moving the ball so well.
And they didn't shoot them out of it. Like usually, how do you get somebody out of a zone? You hit some threes, you knock down shots over top of it. Harris, tip back, no. But to see somebody pass well and not get shook, nice drive by Bell. And an offensive foul. That's his first.
Well, most of the time against the zone, to your point, Joel, is you see the three-point shot, but what you don't see before is there are 2 driving kicks to get to that three-point shot. You can't just swing it around the zone.
Isaac Brown in his 3rd season here at Wichita. The American Coach of the Year after he won the league his 1st season. Hines, nice slice. And the Maryland transfer, excuse me, the Denver transfer. They got 7 transfers in South Florida. Gives the Bulls a 2-point lead. Poto, the 3, missed. 12% three-point shooter, but Mike, that used to be a huge part of his game.
Has to keep shooting. In high school, he was a terrific pick and pop player at Sunrise Christian. He has the ability to make the 3, just missing the confidence.
Bryant missed. Rebound, Poto.
So how do you get confidence back if you're a pick and pop shooter and you're not shooting the ball well? You stay in the gym, you get shots up, and that's exactly what Kenny Poto did today.
And he made them.
He got up hundreds of threes before the game today.
Porter cashes down. That's his first 3 today.
I'm just a huge fan of Craig Porter Jr.'s game. Coach Gregory is too. He called him a top 3 guard in the entire conference. That's how much respect Coach Gregory has for Craig Porter.
And Isaac Brown said maybe an NBA player.
Certainly has the talent.
Pierre missed the 3. Loose ball. USF had Bryant on the floor. Here's Bryant, wide open 3. And he's missed a couple in a row, almost caught the high carom. Wichita back in control. Second time these teams have met this season. USF led by 14 in that game. Wichita stormed back, largest lead that the Bulls have blown this season. Porter rising to the rim, altered by Bryant, but there is a foul. That's the first on Keyshawn Bryant, but he got in there against Craig Porter.
This is Wichita State basketball. Craig Porter lining up the three. If he's making threes, better watch out. This Wichita State offense changes a lot when he's hitting three-pointers. One of the most underappreciated guards in the American Conference.
Number 1 overall team in the American is the number 1 overall team in the country. Now 17-1 for the Houston Cougars, taking on Memphis today. Then Tulane, Cincinnati battle for who is the 3rd best team in this league. Temple, of course, the only team to beat Houston. But it is that battle for the 6th seed. Keep yourself as far away from Houston as possible. That's what's at stake between Wichita and USF today.
Yeah, no question, is the ability for Wichita State to get that 6th seed. You play the 11th seed, which will be Tulsa, which they've played really well against them this season. And like you said, you are the farthest away from Houston as possible in the American Conference tournament, because on a neutral site floor, Houston's, right, they're going to make a push for the overall number 1 seed in the American Conference tournament, depending what happens in the next week.
Mike O'Donnell, Joel Godet, we talked about this earlier. This is literally the tiebreaker scenario in the American.
Joel's memorized that whole thing, and we're going to keep going through it with you throughout the course of the game.
This is, I'm not like, I can't think of the last time I wrote a paper that was this long.
Oh, you got to step your paper game up, man. You know, I do peer-reviewed stuff all the time.
Let's take a look at the tiebreakers for these two teams in particular when it comes to getting that 6th seed. Wichita win. All right, that's easy.
Yeah.
South Florida needs a little bit of help, and that's how you get a double-sided piece of paper.
And you got to think about South Florida as well. As you look at their record, they've lost an unbelievable amount of close games. And at the same time, they're 3-0 heading into this game. And you have to think about, this is a battle-tested team. They've just started to figure out their offense. Players have accepted their roles. Coming into this game on a 3-game win streak, if they can beat Wichita State on the road, going into the conference tournament, quick turnaround, really a 36-hour turnaround, South Florida could be a really dangerous team in Fort Worth.
Wichita State came out hot shooting today. Hit 5 of their first 6 shots. South Florida able to rally back, hang with them. I mean, anytime you can bro hug a shock of wheat, it's a good day.
Well, absolutely. This is my first time here at Koch Arena. This is your first time, too, as well?
It is. First time in Wichita.
This place is absolutely gorgeous. This is an awesome arena. This is one of those underrated cathedrals of college basketball that we get the opportunity to call here today. I mean, awesome arena, fantastic atmosphere. One of the best.
Great town. First ever Pizza Hut, the Doodah Diner.
I had breakfast there this morning, off the charts. Top 10 pancake in the country at Doodah Diner, in my opinion. Terrific.
Not only that, that was your first breakfast.
Oh, yeah, I'm basically a hobbit. I have first breakfast and second breakfast.
Couple of free throws here for Craig Porter Jr. 6 of Wichita's 17. He was fouled by Keyshawn Bryant just before the timeout. And now 7 for Craig Porter. Halfway to his average, not even halfway through the first half. 3-point lead for Wichita. Welcome to Wichita, Kansas. South Florida and Wichita State on the final day of the regular season here in the American. Alongside Mike O'Donnell, Joel Godet, glad to have you with us. March is in the air. Congratulations to the St. Louis Billikens. From 2-9 to start their season, they win 8 of their final 9 in the regular season, win the A-10 Women's Basketball Championship. And that's what these teams are looking to do here, Mike. Can one of these two teams be spoiler in the American and make it into the NCAA dance?
And both teams playing well. South Florida coming into this game on the road on a 3-game win streak. Wichita State trying to get back onto the winning side of things, coming off a loss against Houston. They were only down 2 points at halftime in that game.
Wichita started today making 5 of its first 6 shots. That's been the story of this season for the Shockers. Craig Porter misses, tip back good, Poto on the follow. Wichita was not good on offense until about the second week of January. And now they're one of the top 50 teams in the country. Russell Chiwa heads to the free throw line.
It has been a tale of 2 seasons for Wichita State, and a lot of credit goes to Coach Brown and his coaching staff for adjusting the offensive philosophy halfway through the season. Things weren't working, and now he's added in new wrinkles into the offense, and they've looked much better on the offensive end.
Chiwa's a 60% free throw shooter here. The 2-6 conference home record in this building boggles my mind. Place is awesome.
It's not a normal thing for a Wichita State program to be 2-6 in conference home record, but you look at their defense, 41%, one spot behind Houston in the American Conference. They're 32nd in the nation in field goal percentage defense.
Second free throw here for Chiwa. Texas Tech transfer. And the junior from Cameroon. He has 4 points today. His team is back within 4. Then Chiwa checks out. He's replaced by Sam Hines, who is really the heart and soul of this team. Chiwa is a crazy story. Went home to his native Cameroon over the summer and then could not get back into the United States, and it's well documented. It got to the point where his family said, we can't afford to feed him. He's 280 pounds. Flanagan in off the bench for Wichita State. Rebound for the high-flying Keyshawn Bryant.
That's a healthy 242. He's only got 5% body fat. He is an absolute tank.
He told us he eats 7 to 8 times a day, which actually resonates with you.
Oh, yeah, I'm a 5 to 6 meal a day guy.
I'm like a 2.5. Step back. Long jumper misses for Corey Walker. I'm like a grazer throughout the day. Porter, one of the more underrated players in this country. Driving right side of the lane. That's why finger roll is good. Craig Porter Jr. has 9 first-half points. Wichita State grows the lead to 6.
He's just so good, and the more he's able to finish like that around the rim, you just think about his draft stock in the next year or two. I mean, he has NBA potential, no question about it.
Driving, Bryant, and a block called.
And Craig Porter Jr., little hezzy, the step through to avoid the charge. That is such a big-time PhD move, little proper hand development.
He's a guy that went to junior college, Craig Porter Jr., from Terre Haute, Indiana, went to Vincennes, won the national championship. But he went to junior college. He didn't play AAU. He was a diamond in the rough.
Yep. And we asked him about that. How could you not play AAU in today's day and age in the modern game as Tyler Harris rips a 3? He said there just weren't any teams. Just play high school ball. It's hard to imagine.
And then that turns into great recruiting job. If you're Wichita State, you're in the JUCO ranks. Wichita has a very great history with JUCO players. Poor Bear Chandler. Listen, he's 6'9", 240, but he does have that capability. Wichita State up by 6.
He doesn't shoot a lot of them, but when he does, he's 50% from 3.
Driving Hines into poor Bear Chandler.
A block
Fight
by Porter.
for the loose ball. Wichita in transition. Porter to the rim. Poor Bear Chandler tried to clean it. Now here comes USF. Without numbers, Bryant spinning, and a block is called. The Wichita fans want a held ball. But how about poor Bear Chandler? It's senior day. Make a memory.
Welcome back to Wichita, and I want you to take a look at Craig Porter Jr. He's got 9 points, 2 of them right here, and this is one of the reasons why he's one of the most underrated players in college basketball. He's the 5th most efficient ISO scorer in the country. He has a 57% effective field goal percentage. He's analytically ahead of Max A. Smith of Oral Roberts, who's the 7th leading scorer in the nation. He had a triple-double at Tulane, 15 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. He is one of the most underrated players in the country. He's one of the best guards in the American Conference. He's top 10 in the American in assists, blocks, steals, assist-to-turnover ratio, and he's 11th in rebounds per game. What can't Craig Porter Jr. do?
Well, for a while it was shoot. He was a pass-first guy. He was a 30% three-point shooter in junior college. It was a bucket for Russell Chiwa out of the timeout. Testament to his work ethic and player development.
And the new offensive system that Coach Brown has put in place through the season has benefited him greatly. He's shooting 37% from 3 this season, almost 80% from the free throw line.
We've got a violation on South Florida. Another look at Chiwa here.
That's way too easy from Russell Chiwa. That's something that he does really well. He actually is #1 in the American Conference in post-up scoring efficiency. Every time he touches the ball in the post, there's a 51% chance that he's scoring. Those are pretty good percentages.
He just can't catch it that deep.
Oh, you have to push him out. But he's so strong, and he uses angles really well.
Nice move by Okafor. Boy, first team all-conference in the Southland last year. Really hasn't played since transferring to Wichita State. But he's stuck with it, bought into his role. He starts on senior day, and well, he can do that for you.
And the coaching staff really feels that he does have the ability to be a consistent double-double guy. They're just waiting for him to be a little bit more aggressive.
Floater for Bryant Short. Second chance here for Hines, and it's ripped out of his hands by who?
Craig Porter Jr. making a grown man's play.
I mean, you don't get a lot of 6'2 guys. Here's Pierre Jr. and the rebound Chiwa, who are going to, for today's roster, without Walton, lead you in scoring, lead you in assists, lead you in steals, blocks. Harris blocked. There's Porter. Pierre without numbers, but he will go to the free throw line. Or are they going to call that on the floor? Foul is on Ryan Conwell. That'll be a baseline inbounds.
This is Craig Porter's 3rd block of the game. He's 6'2". Joel, I'm telling you right now, at 6'2", he's one of the top shot blockers in the American Conference. He's also top 10 in steals. He is going to get legitimate consideration for Defensive Player of the Year in the American Conference.
Do you block shots?
I'm not going anywhere near the rim. Are you kidding me?
Well, what was
I'm
your
staying
excuse?
way below sea level. Oh, yeah. Short, slow, 5'10". Those are my excuses.
Poor Bear Chandler popping off of the screen. Boy, they have to run at him because he hit that early 3. Boy, it's beautifully set up offense. Okafor, the rebound and the rim rock.
It's amazing what happens when you take great shots. It gives you the opportunity to get offensive rebound looks.
Wichita State playing elite with an 8-point lead. Got to find Harris here, don't you?
Absolutely.
Here he is, 2 in black. Boy, thought about putting that up from Tampa.
And you can't go for the ball fakes. He'll utilize a lot of those ball fakes, and he's so crafty.
4 on the shot clock. Smith wants 3 and buries it. Sorrell Smith didn't score in only 5 minutes last game against Tulsa. Needed that bucket.
And he's been in and out of the lineup. They really felt when he transferred in, he could be a 3-and-D threat for their system.
Maryland transfer, East Tennessee transfer as well. Porter Jr. making it rain.
12 points and 3 blocks already in this game for Craig Porter.
Yeah, what's he going to do in the second half? Shot rolls around and down to keep USF in pace.
That's Sam Hines Jr.'s game. That mid-range game, he was one of the most efficient mid-range shooters in the country when he was at Denver before he transferred to South Florida.
You said the mid-range game isn't dead.
It's not dead if you shoot over 50% from the mid-range. That's a good shot. Except most players just don't practice it.
Poor Bear Chandler airballing the 3. First one goes, you got some confidence. And then Harris airballs in response. I don't know if you catch that like a cold there.
Coming off the DHO, that's a play. It's a DHO's called, means a dribble handoff. It's a very popular play. It may look very simple and obvious, but it's a very popular play in college basketball, in the modern game in college basketball, because DHOs act as basically mini pick and rolls.
Why is Porter so good at that? Like, what makes him such a versatile perimeter offensive option?
Well, I can't just look at it right from an offensive standpoint, because he is arguably one of the best two-way players in the American Conference, but he's never sped up. You never feel like he's going to make a bad decision when the ball is in his hands or when they're running action towards him. He's very, very unselfish, at times almost too unselfish in the half court.
Just south of 5 assists a game, another turnover off the fingertips of Harris. Craig Porter Jr. carrying his team. I should say bringing his team. They're up by 6. This is indeed March. The Houston Cougars knocking off Memphis this afternoon. Had no impact on the seedings. Houston would be 1, Memphis would have been 2. But it does give it the vibe of, yep, it's that time of year.
Yeah, and if the season, ended today, here's what it would be. If it ended, Wichita State, 6th seed, they play Tulsa. That's good for Wichita State. Obviously, Tulsa struggling this year, and it's also good because it puts you the farthest away possible from Houston. You wouldn't have to face Houston until the championship game, potentially.
Can somebody beat Houston in this bracket?
Oh, sure. Houston had to win at the buzzer against Memphis. Temple obviously had that big win against Houston. South Florida played Houston very, very tight.
Here's Okafor for 3. Really feeling it here in the first half. A couple of big buckets for him starting on senior day. Smith got in deep, didn't quite know what to do with it. And the loose ball winds up back with him. Stay in the play. Shot clock at 15. Harris, 3 short. He hasn't connected since he hit one early.
Well, he's coming off a game in which he went 1 for 11. He's off right now. He is not in his typical rhythm. He's one of the best three-point shooters in the American Conference, actually in the history of the American Conference.
He's the best in the history of the American Conference. He said it made him feel like a king when he broke the record, which is actually refreshing. Here's Xavier Bell with the high kiss, rebounded by Hines. I feel like most people don't acknowledge records. It's like, well, it was great, but I want my team to win. That's a block by Poto. Wichita leading here by 6, 2:43 to go in the first. This is that tiebreak scenario, and UCF is winning massively today over ECU, so South Florida, with a win, could put themselves in that 6th spot.
South Florida swept UCF today, and Wichita State, they get the 6th seed with a win in this game. Obviously so important. You want to be matched up with the 11th seed and trying to stay away from Houston.
Nice driving kick. Smith guarded by Bell. Step back, creating his shot and burying it.
Oh, I get really happy anytime someone makes a step back mid-range jumper.
Did you used to take them?
Had to. It's too short not to have a step back jumper. That is a
rise and dunk.
Beautiful pass from Kenny Poto. That's the best part about his game. His passing ability as a big man is really, really good.
Gus Okafor had 2 points in the last 4 games. He has 6 before halftime. Throw it in top, Chiwa. He's doubled.
That was great help by Craig Porter on the baseline.
When he found the open man, Chaplin driving, left hand, no. Poto overplayed the rebound, and Chiwa is fouled on the floor. Look at this dump off one more time.
This is what Kenny Poto did a lot in high school. That's almost a no-look bounce pass along the baseline. He is a very gifted passer. And the more confident he is, the more involved he's going to be in the offense. And Wichita State thought they were going to have that kind of player when they recruited him. He's lost a little bit of confidence, but as he starts making passes like that, he needs to knock down a 3. He is one of the more difficult players to scout against because of his passing ability at 6'11".
Foul was on Porter Jr. here as Chiwa hits both free throws. Do you think any of that passing ability carries over from his skiing at 6'11"?
I have no idea, but I just can't even picture him skiing at 6'11". But apparently he's really good, obviously from Sweden.
Goes up north. I was trying to picture it as he was telling us at breakfast this morning. 90 seconds left to go. Porter Jr. got his man in the air and then knocks down the shot. He wanted the foul on Smith. It wasn't there. But 14 first half points for Craig Porter Jr. Harris just can't get going. Pierre doing the job, really the team doing the job defensively on the best scoring threat for USF. In the corner, triple, knocked down for Cyril Smith. He has picked up that slack, 8 first half points.
That's his second 3. Good sign for South Florida when you got your bench guys knocking down 3s.
His mother is the second best offensive player in the history of UCF. Of course, Mike O'Donnell being the first.
Maybe the 200th.
Shot clock is at 10. Here's Porter, one-on-one with Smith. Caught the front side of the iron. Poto nearly had the rebound. Shot clock off here at the end of the half. A 3 would tie it. Have to figure Harris will be hunting here.
And they love to go ball screen action. Potentially their twist ball screen action with Tyler Harris. They'll go just under 10 seconds here, coming at 7.
Chiwa. Harris. They doubled him off the screen. 3 seconds. Harris over Poto. And he missed. Good defense by Wichita State. And the Shockers lead by 3.
Wichita State's only up 3. 8 turnovers.
Yeah. Turnovers was the problem, as it usually is against Houston in their last game. They also were out offensive rebounded 11-3. So despite shooting 65%, they took 20 less shots. And there's a turnover by South Florida to start the second half. You can shoot 100%, but if you take 20 fewer shots.
Have to value every single possession.
And you know what I thought was interesting was what Isaac Brown told us is that it's not just valuing every possession and not turning it over, but it's taking good shots. Like, everything is involved in how you value the ball.
And they are taking much better shots at this point in the season than they were in the first 15 games.
James Rojas missed a large chunk of the first half with 2 fouls. Plays aggressively here to start the second. Sam Hines called for his first. Rojas was kind of the driving force to start the game. He had 4 of the team's first 6 points. Senior transfer from Alabama out of Jamestown in Western New York. Really good free throw shooter for a big guy, almost 80%. And he draws the 4th most fouls in this league. So if you have his inside presence, added bonus.
And next to Porter, Coach Brown says, Rojas is the guy on our team that just loves to play. He loves to practice. He loves to be in the gym by himself. He's one of those guys you just really love to coach. He's all about ball.
And he's played through 2 ACL injuries. Really easy to be tentative.
Yeah, incredible.
Step back, Hines missed short. Poto the rebound. Here's Pierre Jr. Hit a couple of big shots in the first half as well. Dumps off for Rojas. He connects again.
To start this game, that's what Wichita State did really well. Dribble penetration, getting into the paint for drive and kick opportunities.
Largest lead of the day is 8 for Wichita State. They're up 7 here to start the second half. Conwell, the Hoosier, turned away by Porter Jr.
South Florida can barely get inside the three-point line.
Bounce pass, Chiwa. That time they did.
That time they did. That was a 95%. Great job defensively for Wichita State, but that was a terrific job of Harris of putting his defender in a hostage situation with a hostage dribble. Good dump down.
Well, and staying to the plan, right? Get the ball to Chiwa. They never got away from that.
Well, he was being a point guard on that play. They need him to score. There's no question. He's one of the best scorers in the conference, but they need him to be a great point guard as well.
Chiwa with the steal finds Harris.
That's where he's really good.
Just through the hands of Chaplin. Turnover for South Florida, but this was an assist.
This is what I mean by a hostage dribble. You see Taylor Harris puts him in hostage situation by just holding his ground, putting the defense on his back. Gives him a better passing angle. He's able to see more. Smart play.
What do you do as a defender if you're a hostage?
You hope you have great help defense.
Poto over the double team. And that's why you got 4 other guys out there with you. Chiwa wants the ball. Poto's not giving him an opening. 3 long from Conwell. Nice rebound, Rojas. Got physical in there with Chaplin. Wichita shot in the first half 65% from 2. 52% from the floor. Porter Jr. finds Poto. 1 bounce to the bucket. He dumped off for Rojas. But they're connected in a way that just feels good. Champ Week rolls along today. 2 more women's title games on the docket. Big Ten Championship is at 5, 4 Central over on ESPN. And over on ESPN2, it's the Pac-12 title game from Vegas. A lot going on in Vegas this time of year. There's Chiwa, right hand too strong. I feel like there's 9 conference tournaments in Vegas every year now.
I'll be there for the WAC championship game on Saturday night.
Xavier Bell misses strong. You gonna play roulette?
Never gambled.
Never?
Never, not once.
You gotta find a $5 table and just play one hand.
I don't know if I can do it. I feel like I've made it this far at 38 years old.
Chiwa gets bumped. At this point, you're just committed to the bit.
Absolutely.
Foul on Xavier Bell. That's his first of the half. I mean, Poto did a great job there, but you talked about needing
late
help.
Yeah, but it's late help. You've got to be there before the pass is even thrown.
Get a baseline inbounds for the Bulls. Just 1 of 4 to start the half. That was Chiwa.
When Tyler Harris is out, they just go right to Chiwa and post ISO off that baseline out of bounds.
And great
Good
help.
Yeah.
Rojas came in to take it away. Turnover number 8 for the Bulls. Porter Jr. with the English and the foul. Yeah, okay.
One of the most underappreciated parts about his game is his change of speed. He went from slow to fast to slow. He had a burst of speed, then he slowed down just enough to give himself a better angle and put the defense in an area of indecision.
And his play of angles, Mike, he could have gone outside of Bryant. He went inside. He changed from one hand to the other mid-hand or mid-air.
It's not just about being a great shot maker if you're a good offensive player. You know, really good offensive players put indecision in the minds of defense. That's when fouls are committed. That's when you try to gamble or you're out of position or you just freeze. We don't talk about it enough about great offensive players. Your job is to create indecisive moments for a defender.
Chaplin driving into Melvion Flanagan. That's his 3rd foul, but the lead is 8 for Wichita. I feel like we're underselling Jamal Shed with this graphic. We should just put a picture of him.
Hit the game-winning shot today.
At the buzzer in Memphis, the number 1 team has now won 11 straight heading into the American Championship. What's on the line in this game is who would be the 6th seed, which would put you on the other side of the bracket from the Houston Cougars. And both of these teams, South Florida and Wichita State, if they would like to advance to the NCAA tournament, would need to claim the auto bid out of the American.
Obviously, for Wichita State, you win today, you get that 6th seed. But South Florida, if they win, need a little bit of help.
Does Houston have a 1 seed locked up?
Oh, I think so, yeah. Absolutely. Even if they get bounced early, let's say they get bounced in the semis, I still believe that their resume speaks for itself for being a still number 1 overall seed. I mean, I think Kansas is going to be the overall number 1 seed, but Houston's certainly going to push for it. But Houston, if they drop 1 game, they'll be 20-3.
I feel like somebody just threw a shoe at the TV as a Houston fan. Like, what are you talking about? But they are the number 3 of the 4 number 1 seeds right now, according to Joe Lunardi.
And that's of today. I believe that Houston's resume, if they make it to the championship game of the American Conference Tournament, even if they don't win, they're going to be in consideration for the overall number 1 seed, and they should be. Big wins over St. Mary's, Virginia, Oregon. Their only losses right now are to Alabama and Temple. Just a monster resume.
And I don't want to say the Temple loss was a blip on the radar. Bryant jumper missed long. But, like, you're going to give a team 1? Here's Porter, right to the rim.
Oh, good. How good has he been?
A layup on one end, missed, often leads to a made on the other.
19 points for Craig Porter.
Just going to town here without Wichita's leading scorer. Jaquan Walton is at home today with an illness. You have to pick up the slack somewhere. Craig Porter averages 13. He has 19. That's a throw up for Chaplin. Lob. Pierre had a big opportunity that he finishes anyway.
It's a smart play by Pierre of not trying to shoot it when he caught it at a bad angle. He brings it down, goes right back up. High IQ play by Jerron Pierre.
Largest lead of the game. Timeout, USF. Wichita on senior night, starting to make it come to life.
It's been all Craig Porter Jr. Little layup on one end. And then how about a lob pass? Eyes up, tough, smart, IQ finish.
There's 14:40 left in the second half. Craig Porter Jr. needs 3 points for a career high. What say you, Mike O'Donnell?
I say he's well on his way to a career high. 19 points this afternoon, including 4 assists and 3 blocks. Don't forget, the last 2 games he's been playing lights out, averaging 15 a game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and 4 steals, including that triple-double versus Tulane. Craig Porter playing the best basketball at the right time of the year for Wichita State.
You asked him yesterday who he idolized growing up or who he modeled himself after. Rajon Rondo. Good takeaway, diving on the floor by James Rojas. Did you like that name?
I thought it was a very rare thing for a player to watch film and study Rajon Rondo, but you can see the IQ and the way that he plays and uses angles. It's very similar to Rondo.
That's the 4th foul on Keyshawn Bryant trying to make things happen. South Florida's down by a game-high 11 at this point. It was a twofold answer that Craig Porter gave us. He said his favorite guard was Rajon Rondo, but he always wanted to be a big. And Craig Porter is 6'2", but everybody wants to be the tall guy growing up. He went to the same middle school in Terre Haute, Indiana as Greg Oden. Used to lower the rim so that he could dunk in the driveway.
And then when he realized he could dunk on a 10-foot rim, he said, I didn't have to do that anymore. I'm just playing like a big.
Driving, Pierre is rejected. That stays here with 14 to shoot. I have never raised the rim. It's still low.
Lowered?
Yeah.
I mean, don't sell yourself short, Joel.
Did you ever dunk in college?
No. No. I dream of that day. That will never happen. It doesn't even happen in my dreams.
Is it weird I had to ask? Loose ball. Smith Jr. couldn't corral. Shot clock is at 4 here. Someone's got to tell. Porter, deep 3. Missed it short. Rojas missed the rebound. Boy, that would have been a heck of a way to get a career high.
And Tyler Harris needs to make a play for South Florida here. It doesn't have to be a bucket from him, but he needs to make a play. They're going to run a set right now.
1 for 8, 1 for 6 for Harris. Has not shot it in the second half. Walker Jr. turnaround over Rojas and out. Thing was halfway down low. There's Porter into Chihuahua. Poor Bear Chandler, nice bounce for Rojas. Rojas navigating tough waters, tip back, rebounded by Walker Jr.
Nice job by Chihuahua of walling up on the baseline.
And then Porter Jr. The deflection, Rojas could not hang on to it.
It's the second time in the last 3 possessions that Rojas has got on the floor for a loose ball. He is everywhere this afternoon.
And that's a big tree falling hard.
Just plays with a ton of heart.
He'll hear it going to the bench here.
And like you said, not surprising that Porter gets the deflection. Watch Rojas diving on the floor for the loose ball.
All right, South Florida, you said, needs something from Harris. Through Harris. Number 2 in black, top of the screen. I think we're going to let Walker shoot. Driving down is fouled. You know, the thing about Harris, he started 0 for 15 this season from 3. And he told us yesterday, I was rushing too much. The game has slowed down for him. Do you think maybe Wichita State has sped him up today?
I think Wichita, I don't think they've sped him up. I think they've done a great job of not allowing him to see any open angles, especially in the ball screen. They worked on that and shoot around this morning. I said, for Tyler Harris, we have to put up a big wall of defense, hedge hard, and show as often as we can to not give him any open looks, because that's one of the guys in the American Conference that he can give you 30 anytime he steps onto the court. He has that type of microwave ability. He's the all-time leading three-point shooter in the history of the American Conference. He broke the South Florida single-season record for threes, and he's so dynamic off the bounce that you have to throw 2 guys at him in the ball screen every single time. You cannot play drop coverage.
And the drought is now 309 for USF. No field goals in more than 5 minutes. The lead, though, stuck at 11 because Wichita hasn't grown it. Foul, by the way, was on Okafor that put Corey Walker at the line. Here is Okafor. Shot clock at 5. Okafor rising from 3, and the lead is 14. Okafor had 2 points in the last 4 games. He has 9 on senior day.
Wichita State is shooting over 50% from the field in this game.
USF needs something desperately. Anything. Rising, elbow, Walker, no. There's the walk-on, Melvion Flanagan, 22 in white. His father, a junior college teammate with Wichita's head coach Isaac Brown. Okafor, short corner. Follows his own miss. and then takes it to the ground. Off the deflection, allowed to take it into the backcourt. The hustle is absolutely ridiculous. Here's Porter. Porter step-toeing the lane, got his own deflection back but missed. Harris checking the rearview mirror. Here's Harris forcing the issue with the teardrop. That's the first bucket of the second half, second of the game for Tyler Harris. Although Scott, though, right down the floor, missed. USF bailed out. Harris wants three. Give him three, and it's a 5-0 run for Harris.
I tried to tell you, Joel. It only takes one shot for a guy like that to get hot. Tyler Harris.
Just read his body language. Can't let him start to feel it.
But if you got Okafor hitting threes in the corner.
Wichita leads by 8.
And he's become the best three-point shooter in the history of the American Conference. He's hit 268 threes, 91 threes this season, which is a South Florida single-season record. He's great off the catch. He's great off the bounce. He also holds the Memphis program career record for free throw percentage at 86%. He's just a measly 82% this season.
Measly. Boomerang transfer. He's from Memphis, started his career at Memphis, 2 years with the Tigers, then went to Iowa State, back to Memphis, and now here, finishing up at South Florida.
And the impressive thing that he's had to do this season is play more official point guard role. His coach Gregory talked to him at the beginning of the year, said, we need you to score, but we need you to be a great leader and point guard, and he's adapted really well.
Wichita State, sorry Mike, turns it over out of the timeout and gets lucky to pick it back up. Xavier Bell misses the shot. Jerron Pierre, the putback strong. Wichita has now missed 9 of its last 11.
That actually should have been over and back.
I feel like Wichita had this out to a 13-point lead and then kind of just held the door open and allowed the Bulls to make it interesting. Over the top to Chiwa. Blocked! Oh, you gotta be kidding, 6'2" Porter Jr. He just blocked a near 7-foot grown man at the rim.
I think you need to give him Defensive Player of the Year. I really believe that.
4th block of the game for Craig Porter Jr. Neat offense, though. 4 to shoot for Bell. Good option. Xavier Bell, 3rd consecutive 3 made. He only shoots 21%. Confidence at the right time of the year.
Very capable and reliable shooter at Drexel. Former Kansas Mr. Basketball.
Got 9 minutes left to go. The lead back up to double figures. There's Harris wide open. He thought twice about it. That's interesting.
Should have shot it the first time.
Held ball. Arrow goes the other direction.
I understand that I might be prisoner of the moment right now, but Craig Porter Jr. absolutely can win Defensive Player of the Year. And that was a great driving kick by Poto for Bell ripping a 3. Just reminding people, Craig Porter Jr., you said it before once, I've said it once, he's 6'2". He's 3rd in the American Conference in blocks. He's also 9th in the American Conference in steals. Just, he does everything well defensively.
Are you sure you want to fight the entire city of Houston today? Nice backdoor cut by Xavier Bell.
I said he needs to be heavily considered to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Here's Harris. Boy, had Chaplin wide open in the corner.
That was a nice job of Pierre not leaving his feet on that ball fake.
Chaplin, top of the key. And it is out of bounds. Credit to dive into the scorer's table by Sorrell Smith.
Another great pass from Poto, and Wichita State is dominating in points in the paint. Wichita State has 26 points in the paint versus South Florida's 16.
And South Florida's got the biggest guy on the floor, who's their second leading scorer.
But Wichita State has the most movement off the ball in this game.
And that's the key. Shot clock is at 4. It's Porter. Kick to the corner, but he is called for the offensive foul. It was beautiful till it wasn't. The lead is 13 for Wichita State on Senior Day. Basketball tournament on ESPN Plus. It begins tomorrow. Also 170 softball games, more than 210 baseball games. If you're an American fan, you gotta have it. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/AAC or download the ESPN app. Shouts to Jose Fernandez. He has done a remarkable job over the last 20 years as the head coach at South Florida, as the 1 seed now.
Just quietly, one of the most underappreciated head coaches in women's college basketball. I mean, that is an absolute program in Tampa.
Not only that, he and his wife Tanya foster like more dogs than I've ever seen in my life.
Big dog guy?
Yeah, huge dog guy, but like that's a giant responsibility.
Oh yeah, big.
It's a 13-point lead here for Wichita State. Listen, the man's recruiting Europe. He's winning games. Poto tips the ball. Wichita State has the answers. It hasn't been able to kind of barn doors this thing, but it's kept South Florida at arm's reach.
And you and I were talking at the break. I mean, this is South Florida. They have to cut it to 6 here in the next couple minutes. Have to. And you got to look for consecutive stops in a row. It's the only way we're going to get it.
Rojas, good kick to Porter. Still looking for that career high in points. He'll defer. Nice assist. James Rojas with the bucket.
That's Porter's 5th assist tonight.
5 assists, 6 rebounds. Okay, 19 points. The blocks, 4 of them. Kick. Chaplin's open. Buries it.
Really good offense. Good drive by Sam Hines, and then Chaplin slides up. He shifts up to get him a better passing angle for that 3.
That ends a 4-minute drought for USF. Here's Bell. Knocks down the 2. This is go time, though, for USF. You're down by 14. 6.5 minutes to go. This has to be single figures by the under 4.
They're starting to run good offense now. It's just defensively, they have no answer for Wichita State's offense.
Off the window on the drive by Smith. And that's weird for USF. Brian Gregory hangs his hat on defense. Here's Poto on the right block. Oh, that's a tough shot. Wichita State starting to flex its muscle now. It's hit 5 consecutive shots. Harris off the screen with Chiwa into Poto, and he had nowhere to go. But there's a foul that bails him out.
Hang this in the Louvre for post footwork. I mean, that is absolutely gorgeous. What a fantastic job by Poto of staying under control, keeping his feet underneath him, and keeping the ball above his head. That was big time.
Just picked up the foul there. We jokingly talked about him being a 6'11" skier earlier. He's from Sweden, does like to go up to the mountains. But he is on the record saying, I have great footwork because I played soccer growing up.
Yeah.
And at 6'11", he's a skier. Like, he's just a mobile, agile, operates his frame really well.
Everything changes when he becomes a more consistent three-point shooter, because Wichita State can do so much more offensively when he's able to catch and shoot, specifically off of pick-and-pop type actions. It changes the offense. It adds more closeout responsibilities to a defense. That's the next evolution of his game, is the ability to shoot the 3.
He's like a big guy that doesn't know he's in a big guy's body, if that makes sense. Like, he just moves in space well.
It's one of the reasons why he's a really good passer.
Five for its last 5. Wichita State at 50% for the game. Here's Bell. Then he got into the lane with nowhere to go, but he is fouled on the way up.
I thought Tyler Harris played great defense on that drive from Bell, but he tried to go for the steal as he was walling up. Let Bell take a fadeaway mid-range jumper versus fouling and putting Bell to the free throw line.
These are just free throws 6 and 7 for Wichita State. They've hit all 5 so far. And on cue, my apologies, for the 38th year, Champ Week continues on the networks of ESPN tomorrow. West Coast Conference semifinals gets it started at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ESPN, then at 11:30, 8:30 Pacific on ESPN2. Both also available on the ESPN app. You're looking forward to that San Francisco Gonzaga championship.
Actually, that BYU St. Mary's game is going to be good. Dallin Hall versus Aiden Mahaney, two proper ballers at the freshman level.
Step back, Harris split the defense there, kicks out, Hines missed the 3. That could turn the West Coast Conference into a 3-bid league, though, by the way.
Absolutely. St. Mary's top 10 in the net. Gonzaga obviously in as one of the higher seeds.
I said that like it was some sort of profound statement. Yes, obviously it would be a 3-bid league. 4:44 to go. Wichita up by 15 as Poor Bear Chandler replaces Poto. The American in a situation where it has the #1 team in the country. Memphis is in, so you've got 2 teams guaranteed. Can anybody play themselves in this week?
Well, I think Tulane is the 3rd best team in the American Conference. I think their ability to score, I mean, anytime they step onto the court, they can give you 90. I mean, but between Forbes and Cook, those are 2 of the best scorers, not just in the American, but in the country.
You got UCF in there by the net is 77th.
The reason why their net is so good is because they just played a very, very difficult non-conference schedule, and they had that quad 1 win on a neutral site floor against Oklahoma State.
Floater by Harris, strong. I would say if you looked at that graphic, who would be most likely to win this tournament if it's not, and I know you said Tulane, but if it's not Memphis or Houston, is there a team you like the way that a tournament plays out that could sneak up on you?
Yeah, I still think it is Tulane. They're playing the best out of UCF and Cincinnati right now.
It'll be an interesting week in Fort Worth here in the American with Wichita up to end the regular season. State, you saw this coming though, Mike O'Donnell.
19 points, 5 assists. I lost track of how many deflections he's had. And oh, by the way, he's got 4 blocks. This is your first time watching Craig Porter Jr. This is no surprise what he's doing right now. He already had a triple-double versus Tulane. He has been playing really, really good basketball and has been nothing short of stellar this afternoon.
You said to me in the break, how many people 6'2" have 4 blocks? The most blocks by a listed guard this year in Division I is 7. That was UIC's Toby Akani, but he's 6'8", so we need to talk about listing him as a guard.
Absolutely.
But there's not a lot of guys 6'2" blocking 4 shots.
No, it's why he'll be in the running for American Conference Defensive Player of the Year, and he's top 10 in the American in steals too.
How does he do it?
His timing, his IQ. You have to have to be a great defender. You have to be very intelligent. He understands scatter report. His timing is really good. You could talk about all the athleticism you want, but you have to be able to time up the block shots, especially at that height, without fouling. And he's very rarely in foul trouble.
Keyshawn Bryant just fouled out of the game. So I understand his frustration because he has not been able to get into any kind of rhythm today. 9 minutes and 2 points coming off of his 30-point outburst against Tulsa.
That's Rojas making another unselfish team play. We've seen him dive on the floor for loose balls. Now he's taking a charge.
I mean, just to put in perspective the defensive performance by Wichita State today, Keyshawn Bryant scored 30 points in the last game. His whole team has 46 today.
Yeah, South Florida's was shooting 32%. The best thing that Wichita State has done defensively this afternoon is corral and wall up Tyler Harris in pick and roll scenario. They've been fantastic in that.
Bell a 3, largest lead for Wichita State. 18-point difference. Three minutes left here for USF, and The Bulls got to that critical juncture where the game could have gone in either direction, and it went the wrong one. Rebound, Chihuahua, right back up with his right. And this time, Wichita out clean. And that's a credit to the way that Wichita State has grown over the course of the season and why they could make things interesting. If you're a Wichita fan, fingers crossed this week in Fort Worth. Nice reverse. Craig Porter Jr., career high 21 points on that beauty. James Rojas nearly jumped over a baby in the first row to pick up that ball.
This is a smart layup and a cool-looking reverse layup, but he had to do that. He had to go on the other side of the rim because he actually used the rim as an extra defender and avoided that block from Chihuahua.
That ovation for Rojas checking out. Harris is 3 out of bounds. He is 2 for 9 today. Rojas literally jumped over a sleeping baby, by the way. Like, I wasn't hyperbole.
Got to keep your head on a swivel here at Coke Arena.
Baby's still asleep, too. Jerron Pierre with a 20-point lead. Can we get an exclamation point from Porter? Shot clock is at 3. Okafor got his own miss. All the hustle plays, the 50-50 balls.
That's the 7th rebound for Okafor.
He had 3 in the first half. They were all offensive. And poor Bear Chandler is going to have his arm looked at and come out to a senior day ovation.
The other impressive thing about this performance from Wichita State, we've talked about Craig Porter Jr., we've talked about what Rojas has done with his 10 points and 6 rebounds and just flying everywhere defensively. They're having this offensive performance and this defensive performance this afternoon without Jaquan Walton, who's a terrific defender and a fantastic offensive player.
Oh, Porter!
Come on. How good is this kid?
24 points. The final time is in Coke Arena and block number 5. That's the one bad thing he did today. He got so caught up in the block, he was celebrating and got back-tapped.
Here's the 3 off the DHO. Catch, rip for a 3. Just a reminder, one more time, 6'2". Watch him time up this block while he's defending, hangs in the air. Oh, man. Craig Porter Jr. something else. 24 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks. Wow.
Ovation for Porter on senior day. Craig Porter Jr., final time he'll play here at Coke Arena. 24 points, a career high, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks. Yeah. That's the tweet. Wichita State putting the exclamation point on the regular season here with a minute left to go. And Pierre missing the 3.
If Wichita State can play like this while getting Jaquan Walton back, they're going to pose a serious threat to get to the semis and the championship of the American Conference Tournament. This has been a very impressive showing on both sides of the ball.
And then the interesting question becomes, obviously, if you win the whole thing, you go to the NCAA tournament. But if they can make it to the semis or the finals, could that maybe get them, if nothing else, to the NIT?
Absolutely.
Do you have that chance to continue your season?
I think if it can get you inside of the top 80 of the net, their net rankings, they're at 109 right now. If they can get inside the top 80 of the net with consecutive wins here, there is a real possibility they could play in the NIT, especially if they make it to the championship.
Bench is getting emptied here with Craig Porter having already come out, Kenny Poto as well. I want to give a shout out to Isaiah Poor Bear Chandler, who went back to the locker room when he came out of the game for his arm. because of what he's meant. Quincy Ballard has been hurt on and off this year.
Yep.
Isaac Brown told us, I don't know what we'd do without poor Bear Chandler, who came back to this team as a boomerang transfer and as a walk-on.
I thought he was terrific in ball screen defensive coverage tonight this afternoon on Tyler Harris. He's not going to get a lot of credit from a stat line perspective, but his commitment to the scatter report this afternoon was excellent.
23-point advantage. Wichita State leading by its largest margin here at the end. Shot clock will just expire. I hope they don't have to run laps for turnovers.
You're not running for that one. You're not running for that one.
Wichita State will be the 6th seed in this week's American Conference Championship Tournament. That is a 3 to count for Sorrell Smith. And Wichita will meet Tulsa in the first round of the American Championship. That part of the bracket is set. It's a nice way to say farewell to the regular season for Isaac Brown and his Wichita State Shockers.